Okay.
It
I think it's
says,
recorded.
yeah, it shows it.
It is. Yeah, it is now.
It hates me. It said that before and it hasn't done it.
Mhm.
All right. Roller,
Here.
Van Buren,
Here.
Canopa,
Here,
Anderson,
Here.
Stone Road,
Here.
Belatico,
Present.
and Thompson Graham. Is she on the phone? Oh, that's Rick.
is Rick the 401 number? Okay. All right. Maybe Joyce will pop on later. So next, business from the public. Debbie, was there anybody that contacted you?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. We're good to go here. And then we have approval of minutes, and this is the June 5th. So it's hard to believe it's been that long since we met, but a busy summer. So, okay. Did everybody review the minutes? Did anybody see any changes on anything? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the June 5th minutes.
Move to approve the minutes as
I'll
is.
second.
Okay. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, we got our minutes passed. Thank you, folks. Scheduled business. Discussion items is goals for increasing tree canopy. And this looks like, did Rick want to lead on it or Bill?
I could say a few things. I did have a general discussion about the approved tree list for the city. And it appears that the old list is just allowing trees to be planted with the city, old part of the city limits is like 30 feet. And there's a lot of spaces where I think you can have trees that could be larger and provide more tree canopy, because when walking downtown in July and August, there's not much shade. So
Mm-hmm.
and then also replacing a lot of the dead trees. I believe some of them been marked, but I think the tree planting season is now beginning. I think it begins in September and goes to best time to plant a tree is between September and November. So hopefully we could get them. Ooh,
Oh, we got-
oops. Oh,
was that Rick's that did that, or?
I have no idea.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay.
I having all sorts of problems, but it's working
The
now.
third item is that I know there's a lot of dead trees in the
Except I can't hear.
Monteith Park, and along the Dave Clark Trail, some new trees that were planted also died. So I would encourage if we could look at when you're replacing trees to have more drought-resistant trees planted along the park, like the Parkway and also in Monteith Park. So that's where I wanted to start the discussion in regards to the trees in the center of Albany, I guess.
Yep, sounds good. Jay, did you want to comment or mention
sure.
about being planted this year? It's
Yeah. So I'm working on finalizing my tree list right now. Our plan is to replace all those trees downtown. We're not really able to plant between September and November. Usually around the first of the year is when we receive our tree shipment and begin planting. We've seen success in planting during those months as well. As for the trees along the Dave Clark path, the new ones, I believe those ones are under warranty. And I'm not aware of those ones, so maybe we'd have to talk to whoever is servicing that warranty. And I also have a plan for the replacement of the dead trees in Monteith Park. I brought a master arborist out to look at those. I'm still waiting on his reply as to what happened with those. It's a big mystery, but I have the tree species and everything planned out for Monteith Park, so we're good to go.
Okay. What kind of trees are you looking to replacing them with?
Monteith Park, I don't have my list in front of me, but I know I'm going to put some forest pansy oak in there. There's 8 trees total. And I'm replacing them with 3 different species of tree. You know, the forest green oak is one. I think Kentucky coffee tree might be in there too. I can't remember the third one offhand. But I think it's better that we plant more than one species because it was the same species of tree that died. All 8 of those trees were red maples. And that's, you know, if we bring in more species, that's a better way to, you know, make sure those trees are going to survive if any species specific type of issues happen with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like a half a dozen or so. If you go along down by if you start at I guess where the rhythm center is, and you walk there down by the swampy area, there's some trees planted there that died. And then you go by where um, right before you get to the bridge, there's a couple of trees there that died, and then all the way through the path. I think there's at least half a dozen that didn't make it. And so,
Cool. Well, thanks for letting me know. I'll go ahead and check those out and we'll get a hold of who's ever in charge of servicing that warranty and we'll get those replaced. Thank you.
okay.
Rick, did you want to say anything?
Besides that, I'm having terrible computer problems. Track on that. We just need to, it's just a matter of fixing problems as you go. And that we got a couple of problems to fix. The trees that have been planted are
No, we lost you. Nope, now you're muted.
yeah, I was done. The trees are under warranty of the new ones that planted. That's the same with all of the vegetation. It's under warranty through this next year.
Mm-hmm.
Can they replace them with a more drought tolerant type tree, like maybe native fir trees or pine trees, or that won't require summer watering?
The trees that were specified will be in the warranty will be replaced with the same kind of tree as they are.
But they're not going to be watered. They're not going to survive.
Well, they have to water them too. They're supposed to water them and keep them alive. That's part of the warranty.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Those don't look like they did it.
Well, they did
Yeah.
a lot of watering, but there is going to be some
Mhm.
die. This year we had a very, a lot of dry weather, so no
Mhm.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they should put probably the gators on them, but
Mhm.
yeah.
So, Rick, this is Jill. Rolf and I spent all summer watering those 2 trees out just on the far side of the bridge in Periwinkle. We managed to save one of them. The other one's is dead. Is that something that Jay could use the warranty to have replaced?
Jay, probably not. That's just that wasn't under warranty because it wasn't a project. So Jay's the one that's I'm going to refer all the tree stuff to him because he's better at it.
I think I have that tree on my list, Jill. I'll double check, but I think I have the periwinkle dead tree on my list.
Okay.
I'd like to
There's
go
another-
get a few trees in there.
There's another old one on the play area, but it's old and dead, and it's probably good for the birds.
Yeah, I've got my eye on that park. There's some tree issues that I want to correct in there.
And the downtown trees, what kind of trees are you looking at to replace them with?
So far I've been looking at columnar oaks and I could give you a more specific answer if you emailed me. I don't have my list in front of me, but they have to be very.
I don't know if ginkgos are on there because they're very drought resistant.
They are, but the issue right there in downtown is real tight. Even the trees that they had planted down there before are growing into the buildings and stuff. We need to get something that's more columnar in there that kind of doesn't spread out as much, unfortunately, just because there's not enough room for them. So
Right.
I'm going through very columnar trees right now, and I think there's a columnar oak I looked at, and then there's a few others.
Right. Okay. I know there's some ginkgos in front of the city building there that seem to be doing well.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, though, Bill, to or and even Jay to try to get more drought resistant type trees. So, I mean, it's looking like, you know, each year seems to be getting drier and drier and up in our mountains. So, be less having to water them, but yeah, so that'd be a good idea. Oh, okay. Any questions over this item? All right. Next is, oh, this was quite a interesting topic here. River Rhythms July 4th concert. Kim,
Sure.
I'm
Um,
interested to hear your thoughts.
and I know that Bill had asked to have this on the, oh, hold on. I apologize. I did not lock the door.
Looks like she's taken the little one back into the other room.
Uh,
Well, we could skip over if
well, yeah, I don't know if they remember what if everybody's familiar with what he said at the concert. It was pretty bad. And I
yeah.
wish I would have said something before he was available, because when I saw his name on the list,
Uh-huh.
when it was going to be scheduled, I thought it was going to, he might say something, because he's, and
Yeah.
he did. And it was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. It was bad, just hard to control.
Right. And
What
I
flies
and I
out of
know that
people's
Kim said that
mouths,
he's
but
going to put something in the contract. They're working on the contract language, and that's where I kind of put it on the.
yeah. Well, well, Kim can update, but didn't we do that kind of years back when I can't remember the entertainer, but he was pouring whiskey down the mouths of the audience right up by the stage, and so there was something added in the contract. So I can't remember though. So
I think that might have maybe been when the family friendly language went in there.
okay, yeah,
And so there's been a continued conversation about kind of what steps we're able to take moving forward. And it's really complicated because it involves First Amendment rights. And so.
But hate speech, that doesn't really. I mean, you could get in trouble with if you have somebody who spouts that off without taking steps to stop it.
And I agree, it is not ideal. With that said, we are working with the city attorney and the city manager to figure out what appropriate steps are moving forward, as there is case law in other parts of the country about retaliation and limiting freedom of speech, even if you, it's just really complicated. And
Right.
so I know that that's not an answer anybody likes or anybody wants. I know that we work really hard to try to provide a well-rounded season so that we know that we're not going to please everybody. We also try very hard to separate folks from, when we select artists, we select them for the music. And unfortunately, sometimes people talk a little bit more, and every time they talk, you can see our staff as we're like, please just play your next song. Please just play your next song. Because regardless, we don't necessarily know what's going to come out of their mouths. And so, and that's even with people that, we've had folks be like, you need to do more vetting. We did quite a bit of vetting. We went back and watched previous concerts. We watched, listened to promotional, just trying to make sure that the rhetoric was not going to, just to get an idea of what we were getting ourselves into. And, regardless of somebody's political stance, regardless of somebody's religion, sorry, children, it's, somebody could be totally benign and get up on stage and all of a sudden have an aha moment and have something come out of their mouth that makes us feel the exact same way. So it has not been a pleasant process. I can say that at all, for our staff, for our community. It's been really difficult. And it's making it, to be quite honest, very difficult trying to figure out how to move forward, because we need to be able to attract talent. We need to be able to attract sponsors. We need to have our community feel safe and appreciated and valued at our concerts. And it is increasingly difficult to do all of those things. I feel bad as I've had this conversation quite a bit. I'm sorry, it's 3 months in the making coming for this one. So it's it's been a learning opportunity, but this is maybe me going to sound a little bit pessimistic, but it's one that I don't guarantee that isn't going to happen again. We've had folks talk about COVID denying. We've had folks talking pro LGBTQ issues that we've gotten called back for. We've had Mr. Greenwood's negative comments, the whiskey. It's and we've even had folks, you know, the Human Relations Commission is hoping to provide some additional feedback for how artists are selected. But in that, we had a public response to that saying, you're only 7 people on a commission. You don't speak for me. What you're saying is not family friendly. I have no issue with. And as a public agency, we don't want hate speech. We do not want discrimination. But First Amendment rights, it's a very fine line. And so it's frustrating and it's humbling. And so we're doing the best that we can with trying to plot our steps forward.
Mhm.
I mean, if you had language like when you're like a public employee, like your code of conduct in there that says you can't, as a public employee, you can't say that, you'd be fired. So there's really, I mean, and that should, you know, I'm not an attorney, but you look at, if they said something like that, there should be some kind of language in there that the contract should be tested and be terminated,
Mhm.
but I'm not an attorney.
Right. I just think it's hard. I agree on that when it comes to an employee, but when you're just hiring somebody as a performer, you it's kind of
But
whatever
that's
they choose.
contracted with
But
the-
I think the only teeth really we could have is just putting something there into their contract to make sure it's a family-friendly event. Try to kind of refrain from any personal opinions, things like that. But I did see, and I saw the council meeting where they kind of mentioned about getting the HRC involved. And knowing over the years, it's very hard and it's a lot of work on staff just to be able to snag an entertainer and negotiate a price. And it has to be always kept hush hush, right, until you're able to sign on the dotted line. There's no way could it go to a committee to be able to kind of work through who should be who should be coming to entertain. That process to me would be a disaster. I think one counselor had mentioned about getting somebody that was more of a local Christian band, but it's like they don't understand if you want to get a huge crowd and get the sponsorship, they want to have a huge crowd. So, and it's going to have to take a bigger entertainer. We couldn't, if we did somebody local, it's not going to be bringing in the big concert, and then we're not going to get the sponsorship out of it too. So it's sort of, I've always said over the years, that staff has it down to a science how to put on the concerts and to be able to make it successful. And I think that the current process should stay, with staff being able to negotiate that and bring the fun concert. And actually, out of 40 years of having concerts, it's happened very little. They're never going to always be perfect, but it was not appropriate what he said. But as Kim said, it's something that it's hard to control. It's freedom of speech. So, but
I don't know if it's freedom. I disagree with that. It's hate speech. But,
yeah, but they still would say hate speech could be freedom. I mean, I don't know what was said, but it's just
he's under contract with the city.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation for us to be in, and I don't see how we have a whole lot of teeth to it, but we can try our best. But does anybody else have thoughts over it? Anna or Nick or Jill or Aaron?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is I would hate for that one moment to detract from like how I think everything else was really successful this summer. And I was struck this summer, especially I think being on this committee, like how proud I am to be in Albany when we've got all of these amazing events going on. And so yeah, I guess I just wouldn't want that to detract from the success of everything else. So
Yep, thank you. Anyone else? So, okay. So Kim, next step is what? To sort of work through some language in the contracts?
Sure, and
Is
that's
that it?
something that's going to be a continued conversation. There are, I can continue to update you. So it'll probably be well, it's October now. Oh my gosh, it'll probably be the November or December meeting before you hear back from us. But in the meantime, what I am able to offer to improvements going forward is we always collect feedback from the community as to who you would like to hear. And we've heard some folks say we don't necessarily feel like we're represented. And so we're going to do a better job of putting it out there. So if you have suggestions, let us know. I have my long list and it doubles and triples. And poor Lynn wants to pull her hair out as she's having to work between me and my enjoyment of music and our promoter trying to figure it out. But we are just a small part of our community. So I've chatted with the Hispanic Advisory Commission. We've chatted with the HRC, chatting with the Arts Commission, chatting with you all. If you have performers that you think could potentially be a good fit, send them our way. We're always happy to ask about price, about routing. And it's just kind of this magical, well, magical is very optimistic way of looking at it. It is this very weird time where you'll get a name and like 2 hours later, if you haven't said, yes, let's do it for this price is what we're able to offer. Then if you wait the next morning and submit it, it's like, nope, gone, totally gone. So it's if you have ideas, send them to us. And then next year, we're also going to have a survey on site so that if folks have good, bad, in between, they'll be able to provide additional feedback on site using a QR code. We're not going to, in the past, we've kind of moved away from that as public Facebook, social media provides very real-time opportunities for people to let us know exactly what they think of us. And we try very hard to respond on that. But that's not necessarily in a tallyable way. So we're going to look at potentially bringing back, a QR code for a post-event survey. We're far enough beyond it at this point that we wouldn't garner any new information, but that's a change that will happen next year as well.
Kim, I like the idea of having a kind of an exit poll because you're going to get so many compliments, and that will help balance whatever some person decides. We just want to drop a bomb in the middle of your perfect program. So yeah, letting people as they walk out give you a few accolades, that would certainly help if it happened again.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Kim. So good job trying to kind of work through all that too. So that wasn't an easy one. Emerald ash borer outreach. Jay, been hearing a lot about this killing our trees from this beetle type thing.
Yeah, so what we've done so far is we have a page on the Albany Parks and Recreation website, which just has, an overview of what to look for when assessing trees for emerald ash borer, or if you wonder if the pest is in your tree. We've also made posts on social media regarding emerald ash borer. I've had signs made, and I've put signs near areas that have a high volume of ash trees on public property, like Oak Creek, stuff like that, or in our parks with a lot of ash trees. And that's what we've done so far. It's been a while since I really did any extra there, so I guess we could get more signs out, and I could ask the folks down at City Hall to maybe make another post about it. But other than that, I'm open to ideas. Yeah, I was guessing I would be coming here and answering questions. So if anybody has questions, fire away.
Is my memory is that the only the first sighting was in like McMinnville. Have there been sightings of the ash borer closer to this region?
Yes. So initially it was found in Forest Grove up in Washington County. And very recently, within the past couple of months, they've had sightings of the borer closer to us, further south. I think Marion County was the southernmost detection of the borer. And the thing about the emerald ash borer is once you actually find them in a trap, or once you look at a tree and you're like, that tree is being eaten alive by emerald ash borer, the pest has already reproduced to such a point where you have a problem. So the places they found the borer in Marion County, we can assume that there's many, many more there. And it would not be unwise to assume that we already have emerald ash borer in Lynn County, possibly even within the city limits, because it takes about 5 years for that tree to really start showing the signs of it. So as for me, I'm just keeping my eyes open. If I ever see an ash tree that looks funky, I'm going over and having a real close look at it. And other than that, I'd like to get more information out there and, educate the public as to the signs of what to look for. We also did a thing with a school group, the environmental club at South Albany High. I did a little educational event with them last year. Just stuff like that is what I'd like to do. And yeah, if I can do more, just let me know.
As far as like options for treatment, they're basically the inoculation that's super expensive.
Well, I guess, yeah, it is expensive to treat the trees. My plan as of right now is to treat maybe 75% of the trees, and then remove other ash that are in poor condition. Because the poor condition ash are the trees that are most susceptible to the borer because they're the least likely to be able to fight off an infestation. So it is expensive. I do have cost benefit analysis of it. It would be cheaper for the city to treat over a 10 to 20-year period, just due to all the cleanup of dead ash trees we would have to be doing.
Right.
So I'm already working with the vendors that sell the equipment, and I'm looking for funding sources right now.
And so does that include street trees? I'm kind of confused about the responsibility for street trees.
Yes. What we would do is be treating all publicly owned trees. So that includes street trees, park trees, and all other trees on city-owned property.
Okay.
So Jay, do you have any idea how many we have of ash trees in the city?
Yes, we've inventoried or most of the ash trees on public property, and I think we have around 5,000.
Oh, geez.
And a lot of those are in like Oak Creek open space, or
Wow.
along the Willamette. A lot of them are in there. As far as street tree ash, I would say it's closer to 1,000.
Wow.
And there's a bunch in Bryant Park too. Bryant Park is full of them. We have a lot. And yeah, and if anybody's looking for specific numbers on that, I have a street tree inventory, online that I use in my office. That's very easy to get specific numbers. So just give me an email and I'll let you know.
So how do you treat it? Like aerial, or do you have to put something over the whole trunk of the tree, or how do you?
So it's a pesticide, and what you do is you drill holes into the base of the tree, and it's an injection treatment, and the tree kind of sucks it up because it's moving its water and nutrients around in the area where you push that in, and it pushes insecticide up the tree. And that's every 2 years you'd want to treat, or we could even move it to 3, would even be better than nothing.
Yeah, wow. So I had no idea we had that many. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay, any questions, Jay?
Yeah. Another question I would have is, so I don't know, vaguely manage some timberland, and on there is an ash grove. And when I was getting the management plan from someone, she was recommending starting to plant the replacement trees now, because inevitably those ash trees are going to be probably succumb to the ash borer. Is there a plan to start up new trees that are not ash trees nearby from those, especially the ones like along the river, not the street trees, I guess?
Right. Yeah. As of right now, I don't have a plan to replace the trees in those wilder areas. Technically, we do manage like along the Willamette. That is our territory, but it's such a vast, amount of trees that are in there. And the tough thing about it is, if to plant a new tree, you need growing space. So if those ash trees are still there, it's gonna be difficult to establish a brand new tree in there. And that's, any type of management in those areas is also something we'd have to explore through an external funding mechanism for that, like a grant or something.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, Jay.
Welcome.
Next action items, there was none. So then we got reports and updates. Kim for capital projects update.
Sure. So our big one is we were notified officially that we are a recipient of $485,000 from Oregon Department of Parks and Recreation, their local government's grant to go towards Deerfield. So that'll hopefully put us
Good.
about 1.2 to take on 11 acres. So it will be a fully accessible playground, a basketball court, some soft surface trails around the perimeter, as well as hard surface sidewalk that does not impact the trees that are currently out there because they make up the character of that community. So we're in the permitting process right now. We'll be going out to bid probably around January, I anticipate, and then construction will start out there in the spring with anticipation this time next year. Anticipated grand reopening this time next year.
And we're
Okay.
keeping the basketball court where it's at? Is that
Basketball court is going to get
moved?
it's will get moved ever so slightly a little bit more toward it, kind of flip-flops with the playground. So
Okay.
basketball court will be closer to Waverly. We'll have a little bit of space. It'll be the playground and then a little bit more space. Probably by the next time we have our meeting, I'll be able to show you guys playground design examples and or decision points and kind of give you an overview of what the final is going to look like.
Yeah, and kind of what the surface of that basketball court would be like too, just to see what they're going to put in. Because I know
Sure.
there's some that crack easily and just become, not fun to play on.
And the base that we have on our current one isn't salvageable, and so that's
Yeah.
why it's not. We're not
Yeah.
saving any money if we try to put it there. So we're like, let's just do it all,
Yeah,
brand new.
You just nailed my point. There's some surfaces that just become like they useless after a few years. So
Hackelman pickleball courts, despite our best efforts. That's an example.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. So, okay. Any questions, Kim? Okay. Kim, any other capital projects updates? Is that it?
That's the only thing that's really changed since the last time we spoke. Heading into our next budget cycle, we're going to expand our CIP a little bit more as we're hoping that we've found a little bit of stability post-COVID and we can move some money from out of operations and maintenance and actually dedicate it towards projects. So future years, you'll see a longer list of CIP that we'll be able to walk you through. But we'll just need to make it through this budget process first before they're identified.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this budget process going to include finishing off Timberland? Are we trying to turn some of that back over to AYSO to finish that off? Sorry.
No, it's fine. How do I say this? Projects are cheaper when they're not through the city government.
Yes, I agree.
But $100,000 is also a huge chunk of change for a nonprofit who has already given us $100,000 for phases 1 and 2. So that's something that we are going to look to see. But don't worry, you guys are on the short list of how we can figure it out.
I'm not with AYSO anymore. I just want to see that. I just want to see it finished.
I think we all want to see it finished. So we're just trying to figure out how to, I know if anybody knows any grants that we could go through, that would be fantastic. So send ideas our way, but the Timberland fields are on the short list.
Okay. Thank you.
Does Lehigh Park count as capital project?
Yes. We're going to, Nick, you're on top of it, man. So it's not on our official CIP as we didn't know that we were going to have funds for any sort of improvement out there when we put this together 2 years ago, but we got a grant. And so Lehigh, they're out there working. It's been a long summer. And so they've done the and Rick can correct me if I'm wrong, but they've done the drilling and the piling work. It's all graded. Some additional concrete work is going to be going in. So I keep asking for a final like date because we're going to want to show it off before the rainy season. And Rick just says it will be done before the rainy season. I'm not giving you a date. So I'll let him elaborate more during program updates, but we will have kids playing on there before Christmas.
Excellent. Okay, program updates. Who wants to lead off on that?
I'll let Rick go since I have a presentation, so I'll be a little longer winded than him, I'm sure. If he can hear, maybe he can't hear.
If I can hear you.
Okay. Little, can you let me share my screen? Then I will go. Can you all see that? Yes, awesome. So every summer, I'm the recreation manager. I don't think I've met Nick before. I was off on leave when you started. So I'm Rose, I'm the recreation manager. I do a summer wrap up of all of our summer programs. So if anyone has questions, holler at me and then I'll stop at the very end too, if you have any questions. First off, we have Fun in the Park. This program was originally designed, we've had it, I don't know, as long as I've been here, at least 20 years. Originally designed to get kids outside, engaging in their community, some latchkey kids that might just be at home behind a TV screen. So we go to 6 different parks. We move to different parks as well, typically a neighborhood park, and it's free. The attendance on this has been pretty stable. It provides kids and caregivers an opportunity to get outside and engage with other families. And we've had great partner engagement, especially this year. We've had an average of 11 partners come out, engage with the community. And last year we only had on average 5 a week. So that's pretty awesome to see that kind of growth with just within the partner engagement that we have with that one. Camp Albany. This year we serve 260 kids. We have 2 types of camp opportunities. We have Little Explorers, which are age 4 to 6, and then we have Junior Explorers, which are 7 to 11. Little Explorers is out of our Maple Lawn facility, and then Junior Explorers, we do that program out of Periwinkle School. We offer 6 weeks of camp, and then we have full and partial scholarships, and we gave out 35 scholarships this summer. We had room for more, and that's something we need to work on for next year on how to get the word out about scholarships and get kiddos lined up for those. Next. Oh, sorry. I actually wanted to, for Camp Albany, I just wanted to highlight some of the field trips we did. Our recreation coordinator, Allison Bradner, she coordinates this and she did a really awesome job this summer. They went to a farm and got to hang out with cows and baby calves and milk some cows too, which was pretty exciting. They went to the Eugene Science Center, the aquarium, OMSI, PV Arboretum, Cascade Raptor Center, Gilbert House, and the Enchanted Forest. And if you've ever tried to move small children on a bus to different locations, it is a stressful situation. So Allison and her staff did a great job this summer with that. All right, Summer Sounds. So Summer Sounds is typically all Northwest talent. I book that, we book that in-house. I do that concert series. It's 4 concerts, the Mondays in July. It's casual and relaxed atmosphere. We don't have food vendors. We just sell ice cream. We had to make some adjustments from last year in not last year, 2 years ago in Monteith. Since last year we were in Timberland Park during the remodel, just kind of like ingress, egress, how things worked, just things were just a little bit different, but it all worked out okay. Attendance has, I feel, kind of steadily decreased over time. it used to be pretty popular. We'd have a lot of people. So Kim and I have talked a lot about retooling this one, and maybe it's something different that we have in the future. We still want to have Northwest talent and local bands, but something needs to change there, and we're not quite sure what that is, but we're going to be talking about it this winter to figure out what we can do to make that one a little bit better. River Rhythms. So this is 5 concerts, national acts. It worked really well in Monteith. We had, some things that were unexpected, like stairs were a difficulty this year. There's no handrail down the stairs, which we didn't design the park. I just want to remind everybody. Me and Kim and Rick did not go and design this park. There were experts that did this. So those stairs, as beautiful as they are, need a handrail. And so those will be getting installed this winter. This concert series always has high community engagement. We have seen some lower attendance numbers, but as we look at the industry and events, people are seeing that across the board with a lot of events. Many events are just like lower, and it's just different after COVID, and nobody's exactly sure what that is, but we still think this is a great series and works for our community and is kind of a highlight of the summer for a lot of people. So,
Hey, Rose.
yeah,
Real quick on the attendance, did the capacity change with the redesign of Monteith Park?
yeah, it changed a little bit. We got a little bit more space because the stage
More space. Okay.
further to, I know people think it's less, but I assure you it's more. It's more space towards the river. The stage is pushed out a lot further than it was previously. I can't remember the exact number, but our city engineer did send those numbers to us at some point, but we did gain space. So
Perfect.
yes.
Thank you.
We can theoretically fit about an additional 2,000 people in there. And so that
Wow.
also could be why it feels a little bit different, as there's, potentially the same amount or slightly lower amount, but you just have more. That stage is 90 feet closer to the river. So it does open a pretty significant amount up.
Yeah, and we don't actually take attendance on any of these events, right? So having a bigger space, same amount of people makes it look like there's less people.
Right. Yeah. And I was going to add that too. We kind of went away from looking at attendance, like just in general. We want to look at the quality of the program and the engagement we have with the community, and not so much about the number of people there. I mean, obviously the number of people matters, but with your eye, you can see, is there like 300 people in this park, or are there thousands of people in this park? And we kind of gauge like adjustments from that. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. So the next one is Northwest Art and Air Festival. This is a weekend-long event. Hot air balloons, night glow, main stage concert. This year we had Winona Judd. Yes. Kim's was a fangirl. She was a big fan when she was a young child. So Kim was really excited about that one. We have a free family zone. This is a signature Albany event. I know whenever I see meet people in different parts of Oregon, people are always like, oh, the balloons, if I say I'm from Albany. So that's pretty cool. This year was just a bit difficult with weather. The weather was not our friend this year. It was a little bit cooler, unpredictable. It ended up working out okay. We had a little bit of rain on Friday, but it wasn't terrible. But if you're in Corvallis, the weather's a little different than when you're in Albany, or when you're in Timberland, it's different than when you're in North Albany. So we think that we had a little bit of a smaller crowd due to that, but it wasn't bad. It just was a little bit different for us. Saturday, people just came a little bit later to the concert. At first, it seemed a little empty, and then by 8 o'clock when the concert was starting, it was pretty packed. So it was good. We had nothing bad happen. Everyone was safe. So putting that into perspective, it was a good year for us. Cool. So total attendance this year was 26,000 people. This is close to the average. This year we had new pool furniture, which was very exciting. That was like on our list of things to do. That furniture had been there previously for a very long time. And then Next year, we need to determine long-term maintenance issues. There's some a lot of plaster problems that we're having within the bottom of the surface. It's bubbling, and then the tiles just really struggle in the off season. So, as we all know, pools are expensive, generally money pits. So we have to figure out how to move forward with that long term. Waverly paddle boats. Also not a great year for Waverly paddle boats. We didn't have many boats go out this year as we usually do. We had a lot of really hot days. We bring boats in it when it's 90 degrees due to staffing out there, and there's no air conditioning, so it's just really hard. Plus it's not fun to ride on basically a tin can in the water when it's 95 degrees outside. So we need to make some adjustmts. We're thinking about some schedule changes, hour changes. And yeah, I mean, Kim can probably speak, or Rick can speak better to the vegetation in the lake. We have to have it grow throughout the summer to then get it out at the end of summer, which will inhibit growth in the future. I know that's kind of on a lot of people's radar. I know people in the community talk about it quite a bit. We do think the fountain and the aerators are working, but it's just had been a lot of growth over time that we're kind of going back on and trying to fix. So, and then lastly, I just wanted to highlight that we employ a lot of young people throughout the summer. On the recreation side, we employ 30 people for events, programs, and summer camps. At Cool Pool in Waverly, we employ 20 more than we typically would during the school year for our pools. So many of our staff come back year after year, and it's just a really great for their first job and to gain experience, especially working with the public. It can be kind of difficult at times, and so it's a really good first job for kids to get started. And many of our previous summer staff are teachers, police officers, city employees. One of our old summer staff, he's going to law school this year. So I just wanted to highlight that because it doesn't often get shown that more than just the programs we offer, our summer staff that we employ, and hopefully help create better young people to lead us on into the future. So questions?
When was the last time the coal pool was resurfaced?
I think when we redid it in 2004.
Oh, it's past due.
We believe it's been between 18 and
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, it's past due. As a pool owner, it's past due.
It hasn't been done since it was built.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So it's due to be resurfaced essentially. So that's why you're getting the plastering and the tile doing what it's doing.
And we looked at quotes, in all honesty, heading into this year. And we had priced out based on quotes from 2023 about $120,000, and it was 3 times that. So that's one of the things that in our budget we're having to go back and look at to figure out how we move forward with that one. And Albany Community Pool's in the exact same shape.
Yeah. So what I'll just give you a little hint. We did ours because we were quoted about 3 times more than what we wanted, and we did ours. We used something called Sanitread. It's a rubber like product that actually adheres to concrete, and it's used on. I've seen it used on, like, the Air Force uses it on their pool, their giant Olympic sized pools. It's actually used for preventing basements from leaking. We had to resurface ours because we weren't going to spend. Essentially, if we would have had to redo ours, it would have been a whole brand new pool, and we weren't going to spend that much. We spent like 1/10 of what we were quoted. And it's a lot of work because we did our own, but it's a good product and it's held up. We just have to repaint it.
Aaron, would you email me that name?
Yeah, will do.
Perfect.
Karen, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Well, I'd been talking. So the original donor that paid for a cool pool. So I'd recommend to reach out to the foundation, and they would probably want to keep that pool up and running, and I bet you they would probably pay for it. So hopefully, but you probably already thought about that. So, and then I had a question then on summer sounds. So I remember some summer sounds where there was attendance was almost bigger than some of the river rhythms. But it seems like a lot of the trivia bands would end up bringing in a good crowd for that. So I don't know if you thought about just focusing on some trivia bands, but I love the Monday nights. They're great
Yeah.
concerts. So want to keep them going.
Well, and we want to keep something that's like regional acts and local music. I think for me, programming that, like, I love the tribute bands, but I like to mix it up and bring other people down from Portland and get varieties of music that people don't always get to listen to, and enjoy. So for me, I love the tribute band, so I try to throw a few in there, but I really try to like find some diamonds in the rough that we can afford to come down and
Yeah. Yeah. So no, you do a wonderful job. So, any other questions?
Well, Sharon, I have an announcement I think you might like to hear.
Uh-huh.
Albany's Garden Club has voted that they would like to adopt a garden in one of our parks and create it and maintain it. So I've been
Wow.
talking to Jay about that, and he's going to pretty much pick the place. One of the ideas was to build a rhododendron garden like the one that's so famous down in Springfield and Eugene that everybody goes to every year. But I just thought it might please you guys to know that our Albany's largest and I think only garden club that's been around for 50 years has decided to take that on.
Oh, that's excellent. So that's wonderful. We can find them all kinds of locations. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jill. Okay. Any other questions for Rose? Oh, good job. What a busy summer, Rose. Oh. Okay, next.
Actually, I have one question for
Yep,
Rose.
uh-huh.
Did you drive the bot
I didn't drive the bot, no.
next year?
I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm worried that it'll go haywire and go to someone's leg.
Obi-Wan is small. It's
Is
you
it?
don't have to drive the big bot. You can drive the small.
Okay, I was like, that big one at Northwest Art and Air, I'm like, I would hurt somebody
Oh,
with that.
they had 3 bots there. They had
Oh,
the
they
big,
did? Okay.
they had the t-shirt can, and then they had the outreach bot, which is the small. That one fits in the trunk of a car. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you can't hurt anybody with that one.
Okay.
Drive it.
Okay.
It's
next
fun.
time. Okay.
Okay, any other program updates? Rick, did he have any?
I can just update you a little on the maintenance, and I'm sorry, I'm having all sorts of computer programs with bandwidth, and I blame whenever something blows up or there's something going on in my neighborhood, nice guy Dave down the street probably has something to do with the band, but I'll blame him for it, but I don't know about that. So anyway, I would echo what Rose said about the summer staff. It's a great training opportunity for them. We had one of the same gals has been doing tree watering, and she always brings a friend, and she's had the same one for about 3 years now, but just makes our life easier. It's a great high school, college kind of job. And then eventually they go on. We had one of our guys went to the doctor, and doctor comes in and found out he worked for Albany Parks and said, yeah, I worked, this many years ago on summer staff. So there are people all over the place, and it's a good thing. Just a couple of things on maintenance. We're working on we got this little window of good weather. We're doing what we can. We're working on Lehigh Park, trying to get that done, and we're making some progress. That one has been slow and difficult, and I don't give times because you just don't know. You can't, with construction these days, you can't depend on anything on schedules. Construction is also very expensive. Something that I thought was going to cost $6,000 to $8,000 is going to be more like 20,000. So But we do have some ability to do some things right now, and so we're trying to get those done. I think I think I'm going to just end the report at that, unless you have any questions on the maintenance end.
Okay, any questions? I know it's a challenging year trying to keep up with everything, Rick. So you guys do a great job.
We really like the fall because we can get stuff done until the weather goes bad on us. We can get an awful lot done this time of year because there's not as much demand for day-to-day cleanup, pickup, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the weeds start slowing down. So
Yep.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Anything else, Kim?
No, just saying, our staff has been incredible. This year has been a weird one. And I feel like I say that every year, but coming out of COVID, 20 was a wash, 21 was partly a wash, 22 we were all tipping our feet back in the pool. And everybody's just got a lot of stuff going on. Community needs are changing, resources are changing, and we're doing our best to keep up. So if anybody has any ideas, any program ideas, heck, if you know somebody who wants to teach a class, send them our way, as we have an incredible new staff member who is a temp, who is working as our adult programmer now, and she's just lovely. So, and we have somebody dedicated to that for the first time since COVID, as it wasn't part of Rose's 3,000 duties that she takes care of. So I am so incredibly thankful for this group of people. Even when it's hard, they keep their heads up, and they've got a good sense of humor, as you have to. So we'll hope that the leaves stay on the trees a little bit longer so the park maintenance has time to do other things besides leaf duty. Like you said, Monteith will continue to get tweaked a little bit over this year. Water Avenue is the next phase of that project, and there are signs of life for Pacific Powers. They've been marking down there. So they're going to start working from the bridges east to west. So in the next couple months, we'll have to shut our back entrance of the RCC and then the front entrance of the RCC again for them to do their work. And then in the spring, we're going to have to do the exact same thing again when K&E comes back to pave everything and do the Plaza Street. So we're staying on our toes, trying to stay nimble. But I just couldn't be more proud of this group. So, and thank you all so much for your support and for providing feedback and information and asking good questions. Keep them coming. We really value it. So I'll stop talking.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah. Okay, business from the commission. So let's see, Bill, do you have anything?
Just one thing I wanted to ask about was, I forgot to ask Rick, is about the project on Washington Street. Is there going to be any there's a lot of large trees on Washington Street. Is there going to be any changes on the trees along
No, I don't believe so. We talked with them quite some time ago about that, and unless Jay knows something I don't know, there won't be any changes there.
Okay.
I think I've chatted with them here and there about different tree stuff going on while they're working, but as far as I remember, I don't think we have any plans to do any removals right now.
Okay. I think there's some dead large trees in front of the Fisher Funeral Home. I think they're maples. Are they going to remove them, or does the city remove them, or?
If they're in the planting strip, then we would do the removals on those.
Yeah, they're on the planting strip.
Okay. They could already be on my list, and if not, I'll have a look.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Just looking at the screen here. Aaron, do you have anything?
The only question I have is, we have 2 more meetings this year, right? November, December? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, so
No,
when the seat comes open.
November.
Yeah.
Just
What?
November, no December.
No December, just
No
November. So 1 more?
Yep, no December, no January.
Okay.
No December, no January. Okay.
All right. So for me, it'll be 1 more. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your service, Aaron.
So are you not going to continue?
No, there's a lot more going in my life than
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm cutting back on a lot of stuff. So
Uh-huh.
Bringing it back in.
Yeah. So, well, goodness, we'll
We loved
miss
working
you.
with you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, okay. Nick, did you have anything?
Yeah, I guess I was curious on what's happening with Maple Lawn.
Good question. Forgot
Rose,
about that.
Rose, you want to jump on that, or you want me to jump on it?
No, I can jump on it. We're really excited about Maple Lawn, actually. Unfortunately, with the preschool closure, it has opened up some opportunities for us to have some more program space, which is awesome, especially for our kids programs. So currently, Rick and I are working with our building maintenance department to zhuzh it a little bit on the inside. And I'm really excited. I think Rick is too. We're bringing back the wood floors, the original wood floors. They were just covered with carpet and they're in pretty good shape. And we're actually saving money just getting them refinished. And they're gonna be beautiful. I'm very excited about it. And then we are doing some painting in there, changing out some light fixtures. And then we're gonna have it opened up for family programs. So Allison, our youth programmer, will be programming out of that space. We'll programming classes out of that space. So a lot of our family programs will move over there, which is really good. RCC, Riverfront Community Center, is great for family programs during the day. But that just gives us more opportunities. In the winter, RCC gets busy with tax aid and other programs we have going on. So Maple Lawn will really help us expand for some of the kids programs that we're excited about offering. So
That's
yeah, thanks for asking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention is me and my kids got the opportunity to visit. My kids visited every park, and my wife and I split up who took them, and it was really fun. We ranked them, and Monteith won.
Oh,
But it was a fun to get to see all the parks in the city. So just want to say that.
Wonderful. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Anna, did you have anything?
No.
Okay. And what do we have? Jill? Did I miss anyone? So 1, 2, 3. Jill, did you have anything?
Yeah, just that. I want to let you know that Adopt a Park, which was usually just a spring and summer thing, is branching out. And so we're filled up for October and we're working into November. And everybody's still willing to come out. So we're getting a lot of stuff done.
Oh, that's great. So how about the graffiti? Has it slowed down?
The thing that really works for graffiti, rather than having organized groups, is we have about 4 couples who carry the paint in their car, and either they run into it accidentally or somebody calls and lets them know. And because that's happening, it's getting painted over before the police department even has time to record it. So we've still got some. It's a lot less than it used to be, and the graffiti artists are getting really tired of spending money and seeing everything disappear the same night. The next day.
Good.
So yeah, Chuck is in charge of that, and he is just, well, we know. I mean, he's just a barrel of fire.
Oh, that's great. Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Jill. Okay. And I didn't have anything. It's just we've got to start working on figure out something about the Waverly Lake duck. So he needs some work before he comes back out next winter. He's kind of a little waterlogged, but and Kim and Rick just kind of remind me or set up a time we can meet on it. I need to be reminded on stuff. I've got myself kind of stretched thin, sort of like Aaron. It's like hard to keep up with everything. So yeah, just let me know. Let me know what I can do. So
Yeah, we'll keep you in the loop.
okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything? All right. So then it's November 6th is our next meeting. And with that, we're adjourned, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.